Hi, I'm Daniel Wong, and today we're going to be playing a deck that I'm calling Blue-Red Ancestral Turns. This is the deck that Marcus Ewald used to win the MCQ at Magic Fest Copenhagen. Instead of being built around a card advantage engine of Dictative Kruphix and Howling Mine, this is built around Ancestral Vision, a simple suspend 4 draw 3, Narset Parter of Veils, which you can use up to twice to look at the top 4 and put a spell into your hand, and Jace the Mind Sculptor, just an overall pretty okay card. This deck also has the combo of Narset and Days Undoing. Narset only allows the opponents to draw 1 card each turn, and Days Undoing is a draw 7 for both players. So if you have Narset out and then resolve your Days Undoing, you're going to draw 7, but your opponent is only going to draw 1. Days Undoing also ends the turn, which is pretty fine when used in combination with Time Warp. If you have 8 mana to Time Warp and then Days Undoing, even though you're about to end the turn with the Days Undoing, you draw your fresh 7 and then go straight into your Time Warp turn. The extra turns in this deck are a simple 4 Time Warp and 4 Temporal Mastery. Notably, this deck does not have Part the Water Veil, and that's because this deck is designed to win with just Snapcaster Mage beatdown and a little bit of help from Lightning Bolt. To that end, this is much more of a tempo deck than the inevitable combo of Dictative Kruphix. So our interactive spells are Remand, a very tempo-y card, Force of Negation, and Cryptic Command. To round it all out, we have 4 Opt as our cantrip package. Our mana base includes 13 either fetch lands or red sources, so 6 fetch lands, 1 basic mountain, 2 steam vents, and 4 sulfur falls. Notably, because of this basic mountain, we need to maximize on Scalding Tarns, which can fetch it, before we add the other blue fetches, which can't. We have 8 basic islands and 1 Mikokoro to round out the mana base. Over in the sideboard, we have Thing in the Ice, which is one of our best answers to aggressive decks. We have a full 4 of them because we want to be able to just slam this on turn 2, then spend the rest of the game casting spells to flip it, and then attack with a 7/8 and win the game. We have a very interesting inclusion in Niv-Mizzet Parun. This is primarily to be used against blue-white control because of that can't be countered clause, and it will end the game very, very quickly after that. Notably, because it has 3 red mana symbols in the mana cost, I've taken out an island and added a Steam Vents as a 3rd fetchable red source. Our removal is 2 Abrade and 2 Pyroclasm. Our counterspells are 2 Spell Pierce and 2 Ceremonious Rejection, and our graveyard hate is 2 Surgical Extraction. So notably, the meta has changed substantially since Marcus played the deck, in part because of the bannings and unbanning that has taken place. Hogek has been banned, Faithless Looting has been banned, and Stoneforge Mystic has been unbanned. So Marcus was running a full 4 Ravenous Trap in the sideboard to help combat the Hogak deck, but now that Hogak is dead, we can afford to run just 2 Surgical Extraction as a graveyard hate. On top of that, the Faithless Looting banning means that other graveyard decks like Dredge and Grishelbrand have gotten a lot weaker. On the other hand, with Stoneforge Mystic, I expect that Tron will be on the rise because it fights the Stoneforge Mystic decks pretty well, so having Ceremonious Rejection around to fight the Tron decks is probably a good idea. If you enjoy these videos and you'd like to support me, you can use the TCG player link in the description down below to pick up the cards you need for this deck or whatever deck you want to build next. With that said, let's jump straight into the matches. Okay, here we are for match 1. We've lost the die roll, but this hand has an Ancestral, a Remand for early interaction, a Days Undoing for if we find a Narset. I think I'm going to keep this one. Blackcleave Cliffs into Inquisition. That's not good for us. So we really wanted to suspend this Ancestral Vision on turn 1, because that would be pretty huge against the Jund deck. It's hard to fight a 3-for-1 for a deck that's trying to 1-for-1. Unfortunately, it looks like we're not going to get to do that unless we top deck extremely well. Days Undoing, not a great draw. I guess we'll just play the Steam Vents tapped. Pass on over to the opponent. Bloodstained Mire into Overgrown Tomb. Nice fancy Expedition. Unfortunately, we will not get a chance to remand. This looks like Tarmogoyf. Nope, it's Wrenn and 6. This deck would be, or this game would be a lot different if we were on the play rather than the draw here. Jace was an okay draw, but not quite good enough right now. We do want to remand whatever the opponent's next play is. We'd also like to draw into another land. Thoughtseize. I'm not sure if I remand this or not. I think I will, and the reason is then our opponent has to choose between Thoughtseizing or playing another 2-mana threat like Tarmogoyf. So I think forcing our opponent to make that choice is going to be good. Could be wrong though. Yep, and there's the Thoughtseize again. Not exactly sure what the opponent will take here. Probably Jace, but I think it depends a lot on what's in the opponent's hand. I'm also not super sure if we're supposed to just fire off these Days Undoings. Interesting, took the Time Warp. That kind of tells me that the opponent may have an answer for Jace in their hand. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm not sure if we should fire off these Days Undoings as soon as possible or just try to wait. I feel like it would be a lot better. Ooh, that's not good for us. I was gonna say, I think it would be a lot better for us if we could resolve this Jace, but I suspect that the opponent may have a way to deal with it. So I think what I'm gonna do is opt in response to this Lily, and then probably bolt one of the Planeswalkers, not sure which one. And then go for Days Undoing next turn. Kind of rough. So we're really just looking for a land, since it's not quite a land. If I top this, we won't necessarily get to bolt something. No, I'll top this because then we can look for a land. Then if we find a land, we get to bolt something and Days Undoing. These are weird decisions. There's a land. And I think we'll get rid of Jace just because then even if the opponent has like a land Thoughtseize, we'll still be able to Days Undoing. Again, I'm not sure if we're supposed to just Days Undoing when we don't actually have anything going like this. Okay. So we could just cast Jace instead then. Interestingly, the opponent could have Assassin's Trophy or Maelstrom Pulse, or some combination of something like Bloodbraid Elf and Lightning Bolt. That would make it pretty bad if we just cast the Jace and it dies immediately. I'm really unsure exactly what to do here. This is a tough one. I think given that the opponent didn't take Jace when they had the opportunity, they probably have some kind of answer for Jace in hand. So I'm just going to go ahead and Lightning Bolt the Planeswalker that's going to ultimate sooner, which is, I guess, Renin 6, and then cast Days Undoing. I'm very unsure about this move. We'll see how it pans out. It's interesting that the opponent fetched now because they won't necessarily have a land to put in the graveyard anymore. And unfortunately, we didn't hit any Ancestrals, which I still think is probably the card that we wanted to see. But I don't know, we'll see what happens. The opponent going to rip our hand apart. Yeah, it takes the Time Warp, makes sense. I think that would have been our next card to cast. Right. Opponent fetching an Overgrown Tomb down to 8. Land back, each player discards a card. We'll pitch, I think, Steam Vents. Could actually be Island. The opponent's at 8. We're pretty close to Bolt, Snap, Bolt. I don't think we need a third red source, though. We do also want to be careful that Liliana doesn't ultimate. This looks like probably a Tarmogoyf. Nope, Scavenging Ooze from the opponent. Narset, huh? So we could Narset minus and see what we hit. Narset will be at 3, and there's currently no creatures in the graveyard, so Scavenging Ooze currently can't kill it on its own, though it can team up with Wrenn and 6 to kill her. We could Narset and then potentially bolt the Scavenging Ooze. I think we're probably playing Narset this turn. Remand seems pretty okay, but we also kind of want to bolt the Scavenging Ooze this turn, so we might just want to opt instead. This is a tough choice. I think I'm going to take opt. We do kind of want to find more lightning bolts. Yeah, I'm very unsure about that one. I also don't think we should attack or we should bolt the Scavenging Ooze just yet. I think we should wait and see if it's heading at the Narset, because the opponent might have something to something like Abrupt Decay or Assassin's Trophy, Maelstrom Pulse, maybe even a bolt, something along those lines. That means even if the Scavenging Ooze dies, Narset is not necessarily going to live. I think we discard Temporal Mastery because we're at least 2 turns away from casting it. An extra turn currently doesn't give us much right now. Opponent has discarded a Bloodstained Mire. Yeah, opponent just going for bolt on Narset. Can't really do anything about that. And what's this? Tireless Tracker. Okay. Yep. Opponent gets a clue off of a Raging Ravine. Alright, there's a lot of things we need to deal with here. Yep, Wrenn and 6 getting back Bloodstained Mire. A little surprised the opponent didn't play the Bloodstained Mire instead. There's a lot of things we need to deal with. This Liliana is about to ultimate, but we do only have lands in play, so it's actually not that big of a deal. We've got 2 big creatures that we need to figure out what we're doing with. Opt into opt, huh? I'm not sure if that's exactly what we want. Guess we do kind of have a lot of mana right now. I'll top this and opt now, and then maybe that will inform where we send our bolts. I think it's a little too late for Ancestral Vision. Jace, huh? Alright, and a Time Warp. Let's start with a land. So this turn, if we can Lightning Bolt, Scavenging Ooze, and then cast Time Warp, then if we draw a land, we can Snapcaster Time Warp, and because the Scooz is dead, we'll be able to actually resolve the Time Warp rather than have it getting eaten. That sounds fine to me, so we need to Lightning Bolt first so that Time Warp doesn't get eaten. Yep, opt. Alright, let's do the Time Warp again. We're a little low on resources here. See what we can put together. Alright, so there's that land. I want to say this is a Snapcaster Time Warp turn, but we're not exactly getting anywhere with this. With only Jace in hand, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what we can hope for. Force of Negation is not it. So one of the problems with casting Jace here is that our opponent has multiple attackers, both Raging Ravine and Tireless Tracker, so we don't really have any way to protect him. So he's basically a 4-mana Brainstorm. The other issue, of course, is that we have to deal with this Liliana, which is about to ultimate. We have a lot of things to deal with. Let's cast the Jace and see what we draw. I don't think we can win by just bouncing Snapcaster or anything like that. Oof. Now I'm not sure if we can win just period. Not played a land this turn, so I think let's put Island, Force of Negation on top, play out our hand. Suppose we attack Liliana here to try to prevent her from ultimating. Our opponent would need to trade the Tireless Tracker. I also suppose I should have done this before revealing our hand, revealing that we don't have anything else. Alright, well at least Lily's not ulting. But unfortunately, Renin 6 can now shoot down Snapcaster Mage. Liliana can keep ticking up. We know that we have only Force of Negation and a land in hand, so things are not looking good. Oh, shoot, I put these in the wrong order. I should have put land on top and then Force of Negation so that we could play the land and then draw into the Force of Negation if we need it by using Mikokoro. Yeah, I just didn't think about that. Yep. Opponent drawing some cards. Okay, our Ancestral Vision slowly ticking down. It looks like our opponent is going to try to make us discard with a Cryptic Command. Luckily, since I stacked these in the wrong order, we get to Force of Negation this. I'm going to go ahead and not activate Mikokoro yet. It would just be that island that we put on top. But I'll activate at the opponent's end step. Let's see. We're looking at a lot of damage right now. Tireless Tracker is going up to 5 power. Raging Ravine represents 4 power. Then the opponent can crack this clue for a total of 10. Then maybe another clue for 11. Renin 6, 12. Yeah, we don't have a lot of time to draw things. Liliana is also ticking back up towards ultimate. We have a lot of things to worry about, but the opponent at 7, they are getting towards Bolt Snap Bolt range. So they chose to attack with just Tireless Tracker. I guess that makes sense because we're dead to Tireless Tracker plus Raging Ravine next turn. So let's draw something good. Opponent with a massive 5 cards in hand. Not good for us. Looks like they're going to make us discard with that Cryptic Command. Luckily, it's just a land. Great, Ancestral Vision ticking down to 2. We need Time Warp right now. That's not it. I think we can hit the Raging Ravine to not die, but if the opponent activates both Raging Ravines, then we're dead. So, oh shoot, I should have not played the land. Now the opponent just ticks Lily up and then activates the Raging Ravine. Well, there goes the game, but I think the opponent had enough mana to 1, 2, 3, 4. No, the opponent was 1 short. Yeah, shoot, that was my mistake. All right, now we're dead. Going to be an uphill battle regardless. Being on the play, I think, is going to help a lot. So I don't actually think we sideboard that much. Thing in the Ice is very, very bad against Liliana, so I don't like bringing it in. I am going to bring Niv-Mizzet because I think what happens quite often is that we end up in top deck wars, and having a card that lets you draw a whole bunch of cards seems pretty good. Niv-Mizzet is still not that good against Liliana, but yeah, hopefully we'll be able to draw a card or something. And Lightning Bolt is fine, but I don't think we need all 4. Let's try it like that. All right, game 2, we are on the play. Double Ancestral, yes please. All right, let's get that thing suspended and get this party started. Opponent with a Blooming Marsh into Thoughtseize, of course. They're probably going to take the Ancestral, and then we can see what the Opt draws into. We're not going to cast anything this turn, so no huge deal. I'll just play the Flooded Strand so that we can get a tap Steam Vents. There's an argument for saving Flooded Strand for a Jace, but I would rather just get a tap Steam Vents. Opponent with a Nurturing Peatland, so they probably don't have many lands left, if any. Into Collective Brutality, just taking an instant or sorcery. Let's see if we can draw into either a land or a Snapcaster Mage. Or a Planeswalker, I guess. Days Undoing is none of those things. Okay. Well, we've got one more shot. At this point, I don't really want to lose life. I'm just going to get a basic island. We've got the 2 Sulfur Falls. Hopefully, if we draw Niv-Mizzet, we'll, have another. That's an instant. We don't want that. There we go. There's another red source. Now if we draw Niv-Mizzet, we're still golden. Okay, nice that the opponent missed. Ancestral ticking down to 2. Just have a lot of lands. I'm going to play the Mikokoro. I'm planning on activating it. The opponent, I think, is also pretty land light because you generally... Oh, maybe I'll be eating those words. But you generally don't play these pain lands until... let's see, for Liliana, I think I'm going to discard Island so that we still have triple red. But yeah, generally you don't play the pain lands until they're like your last land in hand, because every time you tap them, it's going to hurt you. The opponent has already tapped this twice, so you might as well have just, played the Blood Crypt last turn. Yeah, we couldn't have Force of Negation because we did not have a... Wow. I think we just discard the Scalding Tarn. Yeah, we couldn't have Force of Negation because we didn't have a blue card. So even though this would have been a great Force of Negation target, it was not mint. Yeah, let's just get rid of a land. Opponent activating the Nurturing Peatland. Wow. Okay, maybe I was just wrong about them not having lands. Maybe their hand is just all lands. There's a Bloodstained Mire. Into Stomping Ground and Tarmogoyf. Okay, let's go ahead and activate Mikokoro. Wow. We are drawing a lot of lands. Okay. Ancestral has drawn us into more freaking lands. Yeah, that's cool, I guess. So we could activate Mikokoro, but we would only have two mana to work with, so that doesn't seem worth it. I'm just gonna go ahead and play tapped Steam Vents and pass it on over to the opponent. Man, those were not good draws. Inquisition, huh? I'm just gonna go ahead and let this happen, mainly because I want to activate Mikokoro rather than cast Force of Negation. I'd rather just have a card and be able to activate Mikokoro rather than like pitch the Day's Undoing or tap mana for Force of Negation. Unfortunately, this does tell our opponent that our hand is complete and total garbage, but we have enough mana that we can easily draw out of it. Also, that Tarmogoyf isn't too much of a clock right now. It's only a 3/4. What's going on here? Inquisition to take our force. Sure. We're left with only lands in hand. Yep. Here's a Goyf attack for 3 down to 16. Let's go ahead and activate Mikokoro. Try to draw something good. There's another Force of Negation. Time Warp. Okay. Let's see. At this point, I'd rather just keep our life total up, so I think I'm never going to play the Scalding Tarn. And Time Warp is basically just a very expensive Explorer. Okay, Lightning Bolt. We can at least take Lily off of ultimate range. The opponent's at 11, so that's pretty far away from us doing anything meaningful. If we activate Mikokoro, we'll have, what, 4 mana left? So not enough to Time Warp. So I think we'll activate Mikokoro later. Just go ahead and stop Lily from ulting now. Notably, we do have enough mana to hardcast this Force of Negation and also activate Mikokoro, so that's a big deal. They're discarding Scalding Tarn. Opponent discarded a creature, so Goyf has grown to a 4/5. Opponent's going for Bloodbraid Elf into Thoughtseize. We might as well force the Thoughtseize. It's basically... Oh, actually, no. The opponent is going to lose 2 life if they Thoughtseize, so that could make a difference. All right, we're taking 7 down to 9, it looks like. This is a little rough. Let's draw something good. Time Warp is at least something. Remand. Too little, too late. Definitely time warping. Opponent's tapped out, so we might as well draw a card. Ancestral. Again, I think maybe too little too late. We do get to suspend Ancestral and Time Warp. There's an argument for activating Mikokoro there. I don't know. Either way, we're going to need to get pretty lucky in order to win this game, I think. Snapcaster Time Warp is a good start. Hopefully the opponent doesn't have Surgical Extraction. Ancestral ticking down to 2. Let's see what we opt into. Don't want to land. Cryptic Command. Interesting choices. So we have enough mana to either Cryptic and Remand or Cryptic and Mikokoro. Do we attack Lily? Or do we attack the opponent and bring them into double bolt ring? You have 1 bolt in the yard, so there's only 2 left in the deck, but every Snapcaster is also a bolt. Unfortunately, I think we need to attack Lily. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and attack Lily. I think we need to try to play a longer game, get that Ancestral. Something happen. Go ahead and discard this Remand now, I think. Bloodbraid Elf to Renin 6. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's really not good. Renin 6 kills Snapcaster Mage, which was one of our ways to win the game. And I was planning on doing tap the team, draw a card. But I think we need to counter and then tap the team. Yeah, and then we'll at least get to activate Mikokoro and see where we can go from there. Unfortunately, this Bloodbraid Elf doesn't get tapped. We'll see where we can go from there. Opponent very smartly not attacking with Bloodbraid. Alright, Ancestral ticking down. Ooh, nice. Temporal Mastery. That is exactly what the doctor ordered. So here's an interesting thought. I kind of want to bounce the Bloodbraid Elf because I want to attack the opponent down to 6. And then if we can draw a Lightning Bolt in the 4 cards off Ancestral Vision and Draw Step, then we get to Lightning Bolt the opponent and then bounce Snapcaster Mage and bolt them. It's a greedy play. I'm going to do it. This definitely turns out poorly for us if they have anything. Or rather, if we can't kill them, if we don't draw well. Ooh, that counts as drawing well. And that counts too. Let's see. Do we have a Time Warp in here? We do. That's neat. Where'd it go? There it did go. Nice. All right, we're going to have to try to win on the draw. That's going to be a lot tougher. We might want this Lightning Bolt on the draw, and I feel like Remand gets worse on the draw, so I think we'll try it like that. Yeah, very unsure. We'll see how it goes. Okay, here we are for game 3. We are going second. Sand doesn't have Ancestral in it, but it does have Mikokoro. And you generally want to not mulligan against Jund if you can, so it's a weak hand, but I'm going to keep it. Alright. There was no turn 1 Thoughtseize, that's cool. Interesting. Nihil Spellbomb into Blooming Marsh into nothing. Alright, well we're looking for Ancestral with this opt. So let's see if we can find it. Island is not ancestral, and Opt is also not quite ancestral. I'm going to main phase this to see if we hit ancestral, which we don't. Yeah, I don't think we want this lightning bolt right now. Did I bottom that? Oh, nice Motobug. I'll play a Scalding Tarn. That way we can decide if we want to bolt or not. Notably, we also have Force of Negation up. Oh, okay. Opponent just going for the aggro spell bomb just to draw a card. Alright, so notably we do have Force of Negation up, so if the opponent plays something pretty devastating like a Liliana here, then I think we just Force of Negation it. So I guess we do have Bolt Snap Bolt for that also. Let's see. So if Liliana resolves, we're discarding probably Island, fetching red, bolting Lily, and then just playing a land, snap bolting Lily. So our hand will have 3 fewer cards. On the other hand, we could Force of Negation. Yeah, this is close. The main thing about having Bolt available is that it kills other threats. For example, this Raging Ravine. I'm just going to let Lily happen and Bolt Snap Bolter. I have a feeling like that might be the wrong decision, but we will see, I guess. Lily going up, we'll get rid of an island. Opponent got rid of a forest. Right, I think let's just fetch basic mountain here, and then Bolt Lily. I guess the downside of doing this is now that we don't have, ooh, there's just a lightning bolt. Yeah, let's save Snapcaster for something cooler, I guess. And we might as well play the Steam Vents tapped. Yeah, so we don't have triple blue in case we draw Cryptic, which I didn't really think about, but we'll see if we get punished for that. There's another Lily. That one I think is getting forced. Alright, opponent has Verdant Catacombs and follow-up. I think once again, let's see if we can hit Ancestral. That is not Ancestral. Whoa. Okay, bottomed that. Alright, out goes the Mikokoro. Oh man, we can't even snap Opt here. Yeah, okay, I guess it was maybe a bad idea to... Maybe it was a bad idea to fetch this mountain. Maybe we needed this to be a... Ooh. Okay. I'm just going to Snap Bolt this now. Opponent is going to get a whole bunch of clue triggers, but there's not much we can do about that. I suppose technically I should have waited for end step to see if they were going to use the mana anyway, because then we would put them on one less clue. Yeah, I didn't fully think that went through. Sorry about that. What are they using that mana? Scavenging Ooze, okay. Alright, well, given the contents of our hand, I think we want that Scooze to die. Yeah, the difference between 2 clues and 3 clues would be pretty substantial here, so sorry about that, everyone. Yep, clue. And there is a Liliana of the Veil. Okay, we're sacking a Snapcaster. It's a Raging Ravine from the opponent. Okay, I guess let's go ahead and kill Lily and then pass the turn. So for our Snapcaster in hand, we've got Force of Negation and Opt in the graveyard. Tarmogoyf, oh, that's problematic. Ashiok. Guess we Force of Negation that. We could just Opt. And we're basically never using a Snapcaster again. Yeah, let's just Opt. think this Ancestral is too late given the Tarmogoyf on board. There's a bolt. Yep. Bunch of cards hitting the exile zone. There's a Remand that would have been nice. Interestingly, the Tarmogoyf got smaller when they did that. I'm not sure exactly which card it was that did that, but whatever. We're a little bit short on time, so gonna try to play a little bit faster. Opponent cracking a clue. Remand 6. Uh-oh. I'll remand that. Just an island. Well, this ain't good. It's the Remand 6. Probably pinging a Snapcaster. Yep, pinging a Snapcaster. Tarmogoyf attacking as a 4. Or not attacking? Yep, attacking as a 4. Okay. Let's not block that. I'm going to go ahead and activate Mikokoro. Drawing Ancestral, that's not great. So we might as well suspend it and kill Remand 6. Opponent's at 11. This race isn't looking so good. Remand 6. Okay, we have enough mana to Mikokoro and also Bolt. So that's probably what we're doing. We might need to hit a Raging Ravine or something, depending on what the opponent does here. Yeah, it really would be nice if they had one fewer clue on the battlefield. Inquisition. Let's just go face. I think if we're going to win this game, it's going to involve the opponent just taking some damage right there in the facial region. Opponent cracking a clue. Are milling some more cards. Notably, there's a Cryptic Command that we just milled. That's a card that we're not drawing. Opponent attacking as a 5/6. Bait. Draw something good. Getting Kolaghan's Commanded, it looks like. Rough. Ancestral ticking down. Cryptic Command. Okay. Well, I guess we pass here. Thoughtseize. Ugh. Let's see. I'm just gonna counter target spell and draw a card. Oh wait, this is a 6. Oh no, that's a disaster. We need to counter target spell and bounce the Goyf then. Yeah, because otherwise the opponent gets to attack with a Raging Ravine and just kill us. We could use a Snapcaster Mage, but using a Snapcaster Mage there I think is a recipe for disaster. Now the opponent only has enough mana to choose between recasting the Tarmogoyf or attacking with a Raging Ravine. Yep, and unfortunately this Snapcaster is not going to have much food. Opponent down to 6 though. If we can top deck a Lightning Bolt, that'll do it. Okay, opponent had the land and can now attack with the Raging Ravine. Sure. Alright, let's opt into something good. That doesn't quite do it. Yep, not enough mana. That doesn't quite do it either. Yep, opponent going for Liliana. Each player discards a card, so let's cast Snapcaster Mage in response. Targeting opt. Yep. Alright, that resolves. Let's cast opt in response to that Ashiok. Niv-Mizzet. That sounds like maybe a way to win the game, maybe. Alright, we are super low on every kind of resource here. We also need the opponent to not be able to kill Snapcaster Mage so that we can chump. And then we're going to 1. Yep, we're low on time, we're low on cards and library, we're low on life. There's Narset. Ancestral, ticking down. Right, unfortunately, we can't time warp and do something else cool, but whatever. Okay, Ancestral. Ooh, that's not gonna do it. Yeah, Niv-Mizzet, not good enough. And Narset finds... Nope, these won't do it. Alright, good game, opponent. See you for the next match. Alright, here we are for match 2. We've won the die roll. Unfortunately, this hand looks kind of weak. I want to say this should be a mulligan, but I kind of want to keep it just to see how it plays out. I imagine, you know, we've got at least a little bit of interaction for something. I feel like we won't quite be able to come back into it. This is a very sketchy keep. I think I probably should mulligan, but let's see where it goes. And I'll go ahead and just play the mountain so that if we want to bolt something we can, and then we have Sulfur Falls as painless ways to get blue so that we can hard cast Force of Negation on 3 if we need to. Ooh, basic swamp into Thoughtseize. We'll let it happen. Interesting. Took the Temporal Mastery. I was going to say is easily the worst card in our hand, but we're not doing much better. Drawing a land is not good there. Go ahead and play Scalding Tarn to grab a tapped Steam Vents, and really nothing to use mana for. Another swamp. Is this? I was going to say is this Pox, but Pox would have done something. Let's get that tapped Steam Vents. Snapcaster Mage is the draw. Here's a Sulfur Falls and pass back to the opponent. Got Force of Negation up. We've got Lightning Bolt up. 1 mana shy of Bolt Snap Bolt. Another swamp, huh? Geralf's Messenger. I guess. Oh. We're losing some life. Is this mono black? What's it called? Devotion? I guess let's bolt it so that we can snap bolt it later. Well, no, let's bolt it on their turn and then decide what to do from there. Yeah, this looks like mono black. Mono black Devotion. Thoughtseize. Can Force of Negation the Thoughtseize? Or we can... Yeah, let's just Force of Negation the Thoughtseize. Just hard cap. Right. I want to say we avoid this 3. Because, yeah, this 2 damage is going to add up. Ooh, what does this do? Interesting. I don't think that's going to be a big deal relative to the messenger. Drawing land, not great there. I'm just going to go ahead and cycle this time warp. Try to get closer to like an ancestral or something. Okay, let's opt into. Do another opt, right? Powerful, powerful. Opt into. Not Scalding Tarn. Days Undoing. So if we're going to Days Undoing, we definitely want to get rid of the Geralf's Messenger first. So either way, we're just passing here. You just activate it now. It seems pretty horrifically bad. We're looking at 5 points of power on the other side, fresh hand, bunch of Thoughtseizes. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just snap bolt on their turn, I think. So do we trade Snapcaster for that thing? I'm gonna say yes, but Let's see if they'll even let it. I feel like it's better for us if there's just nothing on board, but could be wrong about that. Leader, okay. All right, well, doesn't feel great, but let's Days Undoing. Okay, what do we got? We got Cryptic, that's cool. We've got Bolt, Snap, Bolt, also cool. Next turn we have Suspend Ancestral Temporal Mastery, that's cool. I wonder what the opponent's got though. I suspect they've got some hand disruption, so we might be forced to Cryptic the hand disruption. Starting off with the Swamp. Interesting. Gravecrawler. Not much point in countering that. Oh. I see. That's pretty good with Gravecrawlers. Alright, we're probably going to have to bolt that. That one resolves. Oh, when this dies, you may pay black. You do return it to its owner's hand. Oh, wow. Okay, so this looks like mono black zombies or something then? I think we bolt this now. I kind of forgot how big Carrion Feeder can get, so. There we go. Ooh, another Carrion. That one resolves. I think we need to kill the Carrion Feeder. Could be wrong about that. We maybe needed to kill the Restless Dead or the Priest. I'm not exactly experienced playing against mono black zombies, so forgive me. Well, I don't think we attack into this, and I think we do want to get our Ancestral started, so I feel like this is better than casting Jace. Fortunately, Restless Dead can block, I believe. Yeah, there's no can't block clause there. All right, Ancestral ticking down. Well, I guess let's Jace and try to draw Time Warp. That would be the best. If we don't draw Time Warp, we at least probably get to save Jace with this. Oh, nice, there's the Time Warp. Sure. Okay, Ancestral down to 2. Now we have 3 9 mana, so that's enough to bolt, attack, bounce Snapcaster, Time Warp, I think. This is 2, 4, 9, 4, 9. Yeah, sounds good to me. This triggers with 0 mana. Okay, well, that's weird. Whatever. Let's do Time Warp again. All right. That wasn't so bad. Ancestral down to 1. And let's see what we draw with Jace. Nothing great here. Go like this. Oh shoot, we're actually 1 shy of Cryptic Snap Cryptic. Yeah, alright, that was a mistake. Oh well. Well, next turn we've got the Ancestral going off, so hopefully single Cryptic is enough to deal with the opponent's 3 cards in hand. But yeah, that was a pretty huge mistake on my part. Yawgmoth. that has protection from Snapcaster Mage. I'm going to say let's counter that. So there's a pseudo combo of Yawgmoth plus Geralf's Messenger. Ooh. Alright, yeah, pretty huge mistake on my part to not have... Oh, interesting. The opponent did not cast their Gravecrawler from the graveyard. Alright. Not exactly why, but I don't think we need this Force of Negation, so I'll go ahead and bottom that. Or for cards. Ancestral coming off Suspend. Nice full hand. Oof. That's way too many. Zero Jace first. Okay, we've got some extra turn. I was thinking so much about fetching that I didn't think about putting Temporal Mastery on top. Oh well, whatever. I think we should be in a pretty good spot to win the game from here. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead. Narset. And let's take a look. Yeah, should have topped the Temporal Mastery. That would have been much smarter. Then next turn we'd just be able to like Jace minus. In fact, we probably should just Jace minus this turn. Oh wow, that's skill play. Just putting that Temporal Mastery on top, just like I said to. We even need this. Let's use it. See what we can find. Perfect, and popped. Just what I was looking for. Let's minus here. Snapcaster. Time Warp. This looks like it's probably. Sure, let's opt to. Why not? Remand, no. Oh. High Temporal Mastery. Alright, Ancestral ticking down, but I think we have lethal in hand, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do this, try to save time. And bother with Jace. Alright, I'm gonna restart Magic Online and then let's get to sideboarding. Okay, I can't say that I've sideboarded against mono black zombies before, so I guess let's figure out what we want to bring in. Thing in the Ice is probably going to be our way to win the game. Unfortunately, it's bad against that priest that I forgot the name of, the 1/2 human that causes us to sack a creature, but I think our goal is going to be to try to kill that thing on sight. So how much removal and stuff do we need? Surgical is definitely great against Gravecrawler or other random things that come back from the graveyard. Abrade seems probably fine. I think Days Undoing is quite good. What comes out? This is really tough. I think maybe I trim the turns package. Maybe they're a little bit too aggressive for that. One Jace. Trim a couple of remands. Force of Negation actually seems pretty bad. I think we need to just let the opponent Thoughtseize us, and I don't think we can really afford to 2-for-1 ourselves. I don't think we saw any big non-creature spells that we care about. It's definitely possible they bring in something like Liliana that we would like to Force of Negation, but I think it's better if it's just not in the deck. Let's try it like that. Alright, here we are for game 2. We are on the draw. This hand has an Ancestral, a Thing in the Ice, and an Opt. I think this is a keeper. Turn 1 going to be suspending Ancestral Vision. Turn 2, let's keep that. Turn 1, suspend Ancestral Vision. Turn 2, Thing in the Ice. Turn 3, opt into whatever we need. Okay, opponent with the Gravecrawler. Jace, not exactly what we're looking for. Incidentally, it would be really nice if those Pyroclasms in our sideboard were Anger of the Gods, because Anger is a lot better against the card Gravecrawler than Pyroclasm. But whatever. Ooh, that sucks. Probably taking Thing in the Ice here. Yep, there goes our Thing in the Ice to a Thoughtseize, and it looks like we're taking 2. Yep, we fall to 17. And Ancestral ticking down. We are professional top deckers. Here's a thing. Pass to you, opponent. What do you mean you took that with the Thoughtseize? I have no idea what you're talking about. Never didn't have it. There's Geralf's Messenger. We fall to 15. I think we're just blocking that. Oh, not even an attack. Okay. Ancestral down to 2. We found a lightning bolt, but that's not exactly where we want to be right now. We're going to try to opt and find a land. This is a zombie. It looks pretty zombie-like. That is a zombie. So killing the Gravecrawler doesn't do much because they can just recast it since they have a zombie. Yeah, land sounds nice. So there's really no good place to point this lightning bolt. So we might not cast it yet. Yeah, we don't want to bolt the Geralf's Messenger because it'll come back as a 4/3, which kills Thing in the Ice with only 4 toughness. I think we just want to block. We can't really afford to take 5, but if the opponent has something like Collective Brutality, then you know this is pretty bad. But it is what it is. What the heck? Plague Belcher? What the heck? That's a pretty sick combo. Alright, so Geralf's Messenger comes back, but I guess now we get to bolt it. Man, we're losing a lot of life. Alright, and then hopefully we can draw land for this Cryptic Command. Oh man, this is a zombie beast? Oh, that's not good. Well, Ancestral ticking down to 1. We're at 9. We do that land for that Cryptic. I guess alternatively, we could play Jace and bounce the Plague Belcher. Play Jace and bounce the Plague Belcher. We could play Jace and put Temporal Mastery on top. I think we just want to be able to Cryptic Command to not die next turn, and then Cryptic Command plus Ancestral is going to flip Thing in the Ice, and then I think we're in good shape. So let's just do that. I think at beginning of combat, I'm going to just tap the opponent's team and draw a card. I guess there was an argument for bouncing a land. Makes it harder for the opponent to replay all their spells after we bounce them with Thing in the Ice at our upkeep. Ooh. Interesting. Yawgmoth is an interesting one here. So we do get to flip this Thing in the Ice, which is pretty cool. Alright, now is the opponent going to shrink it? That's the question. I think it would be pretty smart to shrink it with the Gravecrawler at least. Yeah, in retrospect, I think I should have bounced a land instead of drawing a card. Interesting. Sacking the Plague Belcher also. Alright. Opponent really wants to shrink our thing. Ooh, that was a lucky draw. Go ahead and cast this. See what we hit off opt. Narset. We want Narset? I feel like we don't I want her right now. I feel like we'd rather try to draw a Time Warp or something. Wait, what we're looking for either. Alright, so I think this turn we just Jace and put Temporal Mastery on top. We'll have Abrade up. We could use Cryptic Command, but I don't think we need to do that. I don't think we're gonna die. Definitely could be wrong about that, but we will see, I suppose. Also, if we happen to draw a double bolt, the opponent is just dead. That's not quite double bolt. Do we just cast Thing in the Ice here? Yeah, we're not casting Days Undoing, I don't think. Days Undoing. Temporal Mastery. Feel like we're less likely to die if we cast Thing than if we leave up Bolt or Abrade, but maybe I'm wrong about that. And let's go ahead and keep attacking. Opponent on 6. Feel like it's tough for them to make their way out of this with only 5 lands, facing down an Awoken Horror and a Thing in the Ice, and Temporal Mastery on top of our library. And a Jace, of course. Jace is also nice. Alright, Restless or Relentless Dead? Relentless. And Plague Belcher. Yep. Lots of triggers. Well, I believe the opponent is Dedaruskis. Yep, there's that. Bounce that. And we win. See you for the next match. Okay, here we are for match 3. We've won the die roll. Well, I mean, this hand has an Ancestral Force, Lightning Bolt. If we draw one more blue source, we get to cast Narset, so I think it's a keep, where it's just one blue source away from being quite good, I think. Opponent mulliganing to 6 so far. Right, opponent mulled to 6. Start with suspending Ancestral and say go. Shouldn't F6 through this turn because we have Force of Negation. I don't think there's really anything that we would want to force on turn 1. Yeah, not a Ceremonious Vision, that's for sure. Alright, so this opponent could be Storm, traditional Storm. It could be the new Twiddle Storm deck that uses that Lotus land that I forgot the name of from M20 to try to make tons and tons of mana by untapping it repeatedly. It could be a lot of things. So Ancestral ticking down. I just want to play the Steam Guns tapped. Could be a mistake. Opponent could be a Phoenix deck that somehow doesn't have Faithless Looting in it. It could be a lot of things. Sleight of Hand. Definitely more likely to be a combo deck. Some kind of Storm. Fire Bluff Canal. Ancestral ticking down. Yeah, I think casting Narset and then having Force up is pretty good. And I think it's worth taking Narset down. She could just eat a bolt, but I think just getting another card in hand is pretty good. Feel like Force of Negation is where we want to be against the cards that we've seen so far. I'm assuming the opponent is on some kind of Storm, so I'm assuming that Force of Negation is going to be good. Obviously I could be wrong, but we'll see. Yeah, and their Narset goes eating a bolt, so I guess maybe they're not a combo deck, they're just some kind of blue-red mid-range. Ooh, Aria Flame. That card doesn't look too bad, but it ends up being very, very powerful. Fortunately, I think we need to counter that one. We are going to make up for this card disadvantage in a turn, hopefully. Assuming this Ancestral that's on 1 right now resolves next turn. Okay, so we've got 2 bolts. Pyromancer Ascension. That's scary. I don't think we can let that resolve. Not sure exactly what kind of crazy storm deck the opponent's on, but I feel like if we keep getting rid of the payoffs, we'll be okay-ish, I hope. Alright, let's try to draw something good in the next 4 cards. Jace counts, I guess. So we know the opponent has Lightning Bolt, so probably worth ticking Jace up to try to save him from a bolt. Yeah, I doubt the opponent is a Magmatic Sinkhole deck, so I think it should be fine. On the other hand, we could just leave up Snapcaster Mage for Force of Negation, but I think I would rather have my good buddy Jace on the battlefield. Let's target the opponent and see if we can... let's put that at the bottom. I'm gonna say let's see if we can trick them with their Scalding Tarn, but that's too scary for me. Opponent with the tap Steam Vents. Let's see what they do. 4 cards in hand, 4 lands in play. 3rd sleight of hand. Fiery Islet. Thing in the Ice. Luckily, Jace is pretty good against Thing in the Ice. You just -2 him. Opponent only has 2 cards in hand also, which means they would need to chain a lot of cantrips together just to make it happen. I also think the opponent is less likely to be a Remand deck because they're playing proactive cards like Thing in the Ice and the thing that we put on the bottom, Pyromancer Ascension and Aria Flame. So I think I'm just going to look for a Time Warp. Let's try to cast it. Can't quite find it. I think this is too many lands. All right, and I'm going to try to Bolt Snap Bolt this now. I don't really know exactly what that would be bad against. I guess we'll find out. I guess I should have done this before cracking the fetch and suspending Ancestral, because then if the opponent does have a counterspell for this, we could use the other bolt to take care of it. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part, but luckily we didn't get punished. All right, yeah, just cracking the Islet, going up to 4 cards in hand after the draw step with 4 lands in play. Let's see what the opponent does. Oh man, did I forget to play a land? Shoot, I did forget to play the Scalding Tarn. Well, that's embarrassing. Whatever, no big deal. A little too busy thinking too far ahead to remember the really simple things. Both are important parts of playing Magic. Okay, there's another thing. Ooh, that's a good one. The one thing that's nice about this is we get to attack. I'll remember to play my land this time. If the opponent blocks it, we get to bolt their thing. Neat. All right, let's see what Jace gives. Ooh, that's some goodies. Don't really need either of those, so go ahead and fetch and see what Opt gets. Cryptic seems good. Ooh, Days Undoing. We're not quite at Days Undoing plus Time Warp mana yet. See what Jace gives us. Ooh, some goodies. I don't think we're casting Days Undoing anytime soon. All right, opponent has had enough. Let's see, so blue-red Thing in the Ice. Do we just contest their Thing in the Ice with our Thing in the Ice? Are they going to have a bunch of counterspells? Do we bring in Niv-Mizzet? I mean, the trigger is whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery, not just us. So as long as we get to cast Niv-Mizzet, we're probably in good shape. I'm very unsure what to do here. I do think we want Spell Pierce for sure. I feel like we don't need this many things. I'm not sure what the right number is, but I think 4 is not the right number. I'm gonna say 1 or 2. They're not exactly an aggro deck. So let's try one thing. I'm not even sure if thing is gonna be good here. And let's try Niv-Mizzet, although I'm a little bit scared about that too. Because I think the opponent's gonna have counterspells, I want to trim at least 1 Time Warp. They had Bolt, which makes Jace worse. Remand, I feel, gets worse on the draw because they have a lot of 2 mana threats, like Thing in the Ice or Pyromancer Ascension. Let's try this. Oh, actually, maybe we want to get rid of Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt doesn't really hit that much. Bolt Snap Bolting is a good way to get rid of Thing, though, but I guess it doesn't really do anything against Arya. Actually, yeah, I'm going to bring the Jace back in. I'm going to bring the Jace back in because being able to bounce opposing Thing in the Ice, I think, is pretty good. I'm very unsure about the sideboarding. Let's see how it plays out. All right, here we are in game 2. We are going second. Oh man, if this had a second land in it, I think it would be excellent because we start with a turn 1 Ancestral followed by a Thing. As it stands, I think it's too risky. God, follow up Narset is pretty good though. Then we have Snapcaster. Yeah, I think if this Lightning Bolt had been an opt, I would probably keep, but I think it's just too risky. Oh, speaking of too risky. I don't think we can keep this one either. All right, here we go. Now we're talking. I think let's get rid of an opt and a land, probably mountain. Sounds good to me. Well, this certainly isn't a good start, but we'll see what we can do. Opponent turn 1 Serum Visions. We'll go ahead and suspend our Ancestral on turn 1 and then go from there. Snapcaster Mage is the draw. Not quite good enough now since we need a 3rd land to cast Opt, but hopefully we'll get Thing in the Ice. All right. That is not something that we can Force of Negation, unfortunately. Miracles at all the wrong times. Yeah, this isn't going great. So we do want to opt for a land. I kind of think we want to just force that and stop the thing from flipping fast. It's maybe not the best of plays, but I'm going to do it anyway. I think we just want to buy some time for that Ancestral to come down. Alright, well the opponent's stuck on lands, so that's good for us. It means it's going to be a lot harder for a thing to flip. I'm going to top this so that we have the 3rd land for Snapcaster Opt. Ooh, I should have cracked that. Yeah, I should have cracked that for a Steam Vents. Right, there's Serum Visions. The Thing in the Ice is on 2 counters. I guess the kind of nightmare scenario is they play a land and then play 1-drop, or, you know, land, Manamorphose, anything. But if they, oh, that's not good. Bottom 1 on card top. Yeah, they're probably going to flip the thing at this point. So what we get to do is we get to cast Snapcaster Mage and Opt in response to the bouncing things trigger. And then we at least get to resolve the Opt. Alright, so yeah, we should I'm just gonna get an island. I should have just gotten a Steam Vents last time, and I am definitely going to regret things if we draw Bolt, but We need triple blue for Commandeer, so, or for Cryptic Command rather. But anyway, is that good? No, we need a land to Cryptic. So what I want to do now is just bounce the Awoken Horror. But unfortunately, we need a land to do that. So let's draw a land off the top, please, 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 please. All right, it's a redraw. That's actually pretty good because then we get the Ancestral that's coming off suspend, and we get to put this Ancestral on suspend. So I guess that's actually our best draw. Now land, please. All right, we did draw land. Unfortunately, it's going to hurt us, but it is what it is. Turn, target, and draw. If the opponent has Force of Negation here, there's not really anything we could do. Because, you know, if we let them untap, they have the 3 mana open, or if it's our turn, then they get to use it. So, you know, gotta do what we can. And unfortunately, we are in dying to Thing in the Ice range. We're at 7 exactly. Do we play around Spell Pierce? I'm thinking yes. So one thing we can do is we can play Narset, and that makes it substantially more difficult for our opponent to flip the Thing in the Ice with cards like Serum Visions, because they won't be drawing cards. And then worst case scenario, we crack the Flooded Strand, play Snapcaster for no value, and block. So I think this is better than just playing the Time Warp here, because we don't get got by Spell Pierce. But could be wrong. Lightning Bolt doesn't do anything right now. Guess I'll take Remand. Neither are really great cards right now. I mean, we could theoretically Bolt, Snap, Bolt next turn, theoretically. But realistically, I don't know if that's happening. It looks like Narset might be eating a Bolt here. We're eating a Bolt here. Uh-oh. Rutrow Raggy. I don't think there's anything we can do about that. We can Spell Pierce it, but again, I think we need Snapcaster to be able to block the Thing in the Ice. Unfortunately, if we do that, then another Bolt is lethal. If the opponent has both Bolt and enough spells to flip Thing, then we die. I don't even think I want to crack this Flooded Strand because I don't want to go to 3. All right, Sulfur Falls. That's nice. I think I'm going to use the Time Warp. If the opponent has both like a counterspell and even worth it. If they have both a counterspell and a Bolt, then we're dead. But I want the Ancestral. Now we get to poke them. They only had 1 Force of Negation. All right. Do we use Narset? Let's save her for a turn. Ancestral comes down. Oh no. We did not draw a land. This is rough. So the really nice thing to do would be to Jace, bounce this, and then Days Undoing. Because that way the opponent would be at 1 card, no board. Oh man. We could Snapcaster Cryptic Command to bounce the thing. I think that might be the play. Yeah, I think so. And then I'm just going to not use Narset since we're at 7 cards. So the rough thing here is we are dead to bolt by doing this, but I think this is what we had to do. Ooh, there's the land. So we can represent Spell Pierce, but that doesn't save us from bolt. So I guess now I use Narset since we have 5 in hand only. We get... Ooh, I should have just used Narset to try to hit Time Warp. Man, that was very dumb of me. Wait, did we also... Oh yeah, we drew the land. Yeah, that was very dumb of me. Oh my goodness. Oh well, let's take the Time Warp and hope we don't get bolted. Oh, Noxious Revival on bolt. Alright. Well, that was my bad. Feel like maybe we want to be playing the Thing game. Maybe. Maybe. What do we take out? I think remands do get better on the play. I think we could also add those. What do we take out? Right, I guess we're off Niv. And with taking out, I think, one more Time Warp. Maybe one Snapcaster Mage, since they did show us Noxious Revival. That would be kind of noxious. They might have Surgical Extraction or something too. Alright, guess we will go first. This hand seems real bad. This hand has 2 Ancestrals, but nothing else going for it. I guess it does have the Force. Alright, this isn't a good 6, but I'm going to keep it. We basically just need to draw a land off the top. That was the wrong thing that I just clicked. That was probably better anyway. Alright, we're going to keep this. But I think we can try to build card advantage with Jace. So I think we put Time Warp and Cryptic to the bottom. Alright, yeah. The reason I wanted to keep that 6 is because we had 2 Ancestrals, which is pretty insane. And if we draw a land, we get to have Remand up. And I'm actually going to wait on this opt. The reason being we're not quite sure yet if we're looking for lands or spells, since we don't know if we're going to top deck lands or if we're going to top deck spells. So we can make a more informed decision later. All right, that seems worth remanding. All right, if we find remand, I'm going to leave it up, but otherwise I'm going to, ooh. Oh, do we play the thing or do we suspend Ancestral? I think we suspend Ancestral since we're not really going to be casting spells. Also, yeah, we don't have spells in hand. I think we need to bottom this thing, actually. All right. I guess it's just land Ancestral. Yep, there's the Ascension from the opponent, but they're missing lands, so they do have 7 spells in hand, which is kind of insane. Ancestral ticking down to 3. We can leave Spell Pierce up, or we can cast Jace. I kind of just want to cast Jace and get him on board. Yeah, and then I think I'll just plus the opponent and try to keep him from hitting a land drop, I guess. Ooh, yeah. Bolt. I guess Bolt isn't actually that bad, since if they bolt Jace, Jace just goes to 2 and they only have 1 red source, so we're not going to put that on the bottom. Yeah, Jace being at 2 is a lot better than Jace being at 0. Oh, Fry. You've got to be kidding me. All right. Well, we've got Narset. We know the opponent drew a bolt, but we have Spell Pierce in hand, so I don't want to minus the Narset. I think we just need a card in hand and hope that the opponent doesn't top deck a land. Ooh, another Ancestral. Don't mind if I do. That's almost certainly fetching Basic Island, right? Okay, yeah, so if the opponent does not top deck a land and they just go for bolting Narset, then we get to Spell Pierce them. That's not good. Sleight of Hand puts a counter on Pyromancer Ascension. Real bad for us. Alright, that's the bolt for the Narset. And there's the Pierce for the bolt. So notably, Sleight of Hand does not say draw on it. It says put the card in your hand, which means they still get to do that action because Narset just stops them from drawing, doesn't stop them from putting a card into their hand. Ooh, I like that. Hey opponent, what if you had no graveyard and 1 card in hand? Don't force us, 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 don't force us. Force, no 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 force. I really, really, really hope this is the I can't believe this is happening to me pause and not the where did my Force of Negation go pause. Noxious Revival. I'm not sure if are they just gonna cast another Noxious Revival? Oh, okay, yeah, they're just putting counters on the Pyromancer Ascension. Okay. That's not good. Pyromancer Ascension is online now. But at least we got stuff. We've got Remand and Force of Negation, and the opponent only has 2 cards in hand. And we're going to be drawing a buttload of cards pretty soon. So let's go ahead and Remand that thing in the ice. Okay. We're drawing Heka cards. So I don't think we even need to activate Narset here. I think we'll just play a land, play thing, discard 2 lands probably, and then we have opt, bolt, bolt. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Discard Scalding Tarn and Island. And I don't think there was really a reason to cast this other Days Undoing. Ooh, interesting. Opponent activating Fiery Islet on their turn. That seems like a mistake. Let's go ahead and see what we can find with this opt. Cryptic Command that we can't cast. Still a good card. Might as well keep it. See if we can find a Remand. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even think we want to Remand. I think we just want to double bolt. Yeah. Oh no, we do want to Remand this thing in the ice because then we can bolt the opponent's face and then kill them. That sounds like a good plan. All right. Yeah, Remand looking pretty good there. Ooh, that also looks lethal to me. Nice. I will see you for the next match. All right, here we are for match 4. We've lost the die roll. If we had 1 more land, I think I would probably keep this hand as it is. Keep. Ooh. I want to say this is a keeper. We get to turn 1 Ancestral, turn 2 opt, look for land. So that's draw, opt is we get a total of 4 looks at lands. I think that's worth it. And I want to say we just put Time Warp at the bottom since we are pretty far away from casting that. See what the opponent's up to. Swamp into Inquisition. Oh, that's unfortunate. I feel like we've been playing against a lot of Thoughtseize decks. Probably taking Ancestral. These games are very, very different on the play and on the draw. Right, we draw Days Undoing. Well, we need the lands, but we do have the Narset Days Undoing combo now, so yes, let's see if we can do it. Opponent with the Overgrown Tomb, probably a Tarmogoyf. Yep, there's a Tarmogoyf. Unfortunately, we need to put a... Yeah, we need to look for lands. We need to put a land in an instant in the graveyard. We can't just not have lands, and that isn't a land. And that is not only not a land, but one of the worst possible draws at that point in time. Alright, land. No. Alright, land. No. Alright, land. Finally. Opponent has Marsh Flats. Attacking us for 3. And another Goyf. Not good. Alright, we need a land. We need a land. We need a land. That's a land. Okay, do we Narset or do we Days Undoing? If we Narset, that eats like 1 Goyf attack. And yeah, there's no way for us to Narset plus Days Undoing. I think we need to just get rid of the graveyards and see what happens. It's pretty unfortunate that the opponent has 3 cards while we have 4. It's pretty unfortunate that we drew 2 Temporal Masteries and a Remand that doesn't do anything against these Goyfs on board. Yeah, this isn't looking great. Yeah, Thoughtseize is a good one because then they get to put 2 different card types into the yard. Yeah, I guess if they have another Thoughtseize effect to put another card type in, they can even Marsh Flats to put another card type in. Yeah. We don't have very much. Not have very much going. I definitely feel that the difference between play and draw was huge here because having an Ancestral suspended would make me feel a lot better about, you know, at least having Snapcasters to chump before we draw 3 cards, but unfortunately, we do not have that. Ooh, Abzan. I was expecting Jund. Lingering Souls, maybe? Nope, there's a Scavenging Ooze. Alright, well that's pretty good. We now have no interaction because if we Snapcaster Mage to try to Remand, they're just going to eat it. So yeah, that's not good for us. Yeah, we are drawing pretty poorly. Yep, opponent eats the Remand. We have 2 2/1s. Play. Good. Oh, the opponent shrunk their Goyfs. That seems like a mistake. Lily. Ruh-roh. Yep, each card's a card. Polluted Delta for the graveyard. There's a Planeswalker in the graveyard now. Uh-oh. Shambling Vents. Yeah, we're all sorts of dead. I think we just take this, see what we draw. We could cast the Snapcasters to like try to kill Lily, but there's just too many ways that we're dead. I don't know how we get out of this one. Dead, 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 dead. Okay, Abzan. So just like before with Jund, Thing in the Ice, very, very bad against Liliana, so let's not do that. I do feel like we end up top decking a lot, so let's try to bring in Niv-Mizzet and see where that goes. Still think Bolt is not very great here. Remand is fine on the play, not great on the draw, so let's run it like this. All right, here we are for game 2. We are on the play. We can't suspend Ancestral on 1, but we do have it. Oh man. I'm gonna keep this and maybe regret it later. Yeah, man, this mountain does not seem very good. So I guess I play Sulfur Falls because then if we draw Island, we get to both suspend Ancestral and cast Opt. Yeah, mountain not looking very good. I don't actually know if we would, if the opponent had a Thoughtseize there, if we would Force of Negation, exiling Temporal Mastery. Let's see. I don't think we need to cast Opt this turn, so I think I'm just going to play the Steam Vents tapped. Alright, there's a Goyf. Ancestral down to 3. Days Undoing, huh? That's not exactly where we want to be right now, I don't think. Right, Goyf is pretty small, so I guess let's see what happens. If they just play Lily, I think we hardcast Force. Wow. Tiny Goyf attack. Little itty bitty Goyf attack. Another Goyf. We do kind of need to hit lands, so I am going to grow the Goyfs with this opt just to try to draw land. Bolt. Could bolt a Goyf. It normally doesn't work, but we're only going to have instant land in the graveyard, so it's going to have 3 toughness on the resolution of bolt. Yeah, sure. I think it'll buy us some time. It's not very often you get to successfully bolt a Goyf. All right. Ancestral down to 2. Feel like the opponent's hand isn't great, so I feel like we don't Days Undoing here. But then again, our hand is kind of garbage aside from Force of Negation. Yeah, I think we don't Days Undoing here. I'm very unsure though. Right, opponent cracking the Marsh Flats. Temple Garden. Not sure what I'm hoping the opponent casts here. Inquisition. Guess I forced that. Keeps sorcery out of the graveyard, so that's more than nothing, I guess. All right, Tarmogoyf in for 3. We fall to 16. Ancestral down to 1. There's a Sulfur Falls. Could cast the Days Undoing. I feel like we don't. I really got to learn how to play this card because I have no idea, honestly. I guess if we wait this turn, we could Ancestral into land Narset, and then Narset Days Undoing would be pretty insane. With the Overgrown Tomb. Womp. It's 5 mana for the opponent. Just go into combat, alright? In for 3, we're down to 13. And what is this? Vraska Golgari Queen. Oh. Alright, plus, you may sacrifice another permanent. If you do, you gain 1 life and draw a card, sacking the swamp to gain 1 life and draw a card. Okay. Alright. Surgical on Ancestral. That's unfortunate because we have an Ancestral in our hand. Alright, bye-bye Ancestral Vision. What else does this card do? It's a lot of words. So -3 is Abrupt Decay. -9 is we just die instantly. Cool. So here's a thought. I could take the very greedy line of casting Opt to look for a land and then casting Time Warp. I think I kind of want to do that. I guess if we fail, well, if we fail, we still have Remand up. All right, I'm in. There's a land. Time Warp. Basically just looking for a good opportunity to play this Niv-Mizzet. So if we draw another land, we get to Temporal Mastery. And if we draw another land after that, we get Niv-Mizzet plus Remand up. Let's just slam the Niv-Mizzet and see what happens. I mean, we didn't board it in to not slam it, right? It'd be pretty sick if we cast the Days Undoing now. So now we just really want the opponent to not have Liliana, basically. Any non-Liliana card would be great here. All right, Nurturing Peatland, that's a redraw, I guess. I didn't think about this, but Vraska actually gives them another redraw towards Liliana. That looks like what's about to happen. Tap the Bloom Marsh for green. There goes the Bloom Marsh. Alright, just don't Lily us, please. Just no Lily. Oh man, 5 mana? What the heck? Batterskull. Wow. The hard cast Batterskull. Okay. So I think we ping Vraska. I just want to get Vraska off the table first and then start working on the opponent. Actually, I guess we can start working on the opponent now, since Niv-Mizzet is actually going to hit pretty hard. Yeah, I think I made a mistake hitting Vraska so early. Alright, yeah, so this plus Days Undoing should be lethal, actually. I think. If I understand Days Undoing correctly. Man, that's... Okay, this is just also lethal. Yep. This is just super mega ultra lethal in so many ways. Okay, always yield to this one. And then, well, I guess this was the last one anyway. I should have always yielded to that one, and then the other one you need to actually click on. Okay. Do we change anything? I think we can trim a Remand. A draw. Thing in the Ice also seems pretty bad against Vraska, so don't think we want Thing in the Ice. I don't think we want Spell Pierce. I guess the other Lightning Bolt comes in. Alright, let's try it like that. Alright, here we are for game 3. We are on the draw. This hand looks like hot garbage. 5 lands, Bolt, Temporal Mastery, no thank you. This one has an Ancestral Vision in it. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep, and I think I'm going to land or warp. I think I'm going to put warp at the bottom. That could be wrong, though. Yeah, it could definitely be wrong. Oh no, Inquisition. Oh, but I was gonna suspend that Ancestral Vision. Yep, that's rough. Ooh, and there's the Temporal Mastery right when you have 0 lands in play. That's exactly the time you want to be drawing it. Alright. So the opponent probably has Stoneforge Mystic in the deck. I haven't seen yet. Wonder if it's coming out right now. There's the Marsh Flats into Overgrown Tomb. Opponent really throwing away their life total. Yep, there's Stoneforge Mistake. And probably getting a Batterskull if I had to guess. Yep, there it is. Oh boy. So I think we're looking for a Bolt to really take the clock off. Bolt, please. Bolt, bolt, bolt. That's not it. Bolt, bolt. Nope, also not it. Bolt, please. Bolt, 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 bolt. No. Okay. Yeah, I think we might be losing this game. It'd be kind of cool if the opponent Inquisitions us now, because our hand is only CMC 4 and above, but well. Okay, so if we draw a Bolt, the opponent didn't have a land. If we draw a Bolt, oh man, I want to play Mikokoro, but that actually puts us 1 turn farther away from casting Niv-Mizzet. I think it's still too important though, because our opponent is going to have us on a real tight clock from Batterskull and Stoneforge Mystic. So I think we need to do this. We're just real far away from Niv-Mizzet in all respects, I guess. But yeah, Cryptic Command at least buys us some time because we can bounce the Batterskull. But it would be really nice if we could draw a Bolt to bolt Stoneforge Mystic before we do that. Oh no, opponent found a land. Plains. What the heck? Stoneforge Mystic didn't attack. The opponent probably has a sword in hand then. That's unfortunato for us. There's that Inquisition I was talking about earlier. Take a look at our very expensive hand opponent. What do you think? All right, what else? I assume they're just going to put the sword into play. I assume that's why they didn't attack with the Stoneforge. Yeah, okay, so they're not doing anything else with their mana. So let's draw something good. Scalding Tarn is not something good. Force of Negation, also not it. Funnily enough. Alright, yeah, I guess we play Sulfur Falls. Yep, there's a Stoneforge activation. There's a Sword of Fire and Ice. Let's see what they do now. Beginning of combat. Alright. Interesting. They didn't activate the Stoneforge. Interesting. Alright, we'll just take this, I think. Alright, what else you up to, opponent? Very interesting that they didn't equip the sword. Kind of curious what they're going for. Now they're equipping the sword? That's bizarre. I'm real confused. They also didn't attack with... Yeah, I don't understand what just happened. Okay, well, we get a Temporal Mastery, so that's cool. And I think we're still in the activating Mikokoro part of the game, so I'll go ahead and do that. Shoot, I just thought about bringing in Abrade, which I should have done, given that I saw the Batterskull last game. All right, whatever. What do we do now? I think probably the plan is to just Cryptic, tap the team, draw a card, and then remand whatever spell they cast. Sounds reasonable. We also have Force of Negation. Yeah, not bringing in Abrade was definitely a huge mistake. But too late now. Tap all creatures your opponent's control, draw a card. Collective Brutality. I'll go ahead and remand that. See if we can draw something else cool. Nope, not quite. Alright, opponent cracks the Verdant Catacombs, there's an Overgrown Tomb, and Damping Sphere. I don't think Damping Sphere is a card that we care about. Basically, only Snapcaster Mage is going to have us drawing multiple cards a turn, or casting multiple spells a turn, rather. Man, found all the lands in the deck. So I think the goal is to just try to draw something cool. I suppose this counts. So yeah, now we get to cast Niv-Mizzet. And then we have Lightning Bolt. I want to Lightning Bolt now. We still get to Force. Yeah, we can Lightning Bolt on their turn and also Force. Yeah. Okay. It's definitely unfortunate that the Sword of Fire and Ice means that we can't really interact with Stoneforge Mystic at all. That was a Stoneforge mistake on my part. But we do get to kill the Germ token, which is neato. Assassin's Trophy. Pretty sure we're going to Force of Negation that, but let's figure out what blue card we're at. So we'll draw a card. This will ping the Germ. Damping base, I think the term. So the damping sphere means bolt costs 1, force costs 1, so we can pay for both. Is yield to this opponent. Again, we can't target Stoneforge Mystic because pro red. Looks like we want to get rid of Snapcaster Mage. I think Time Warp is a card. Boy, I sure hope we get to untap with Niv-Mizzet. Alright, we are taking a hefty amount of damage from the sword. Yep, going down to 6. Alright, opponent, please don't have anything else. Please nothing else. Please nothing. Alright, it's good that we don't have any time warps in the graveyard, because then the opponent could surgical. Oh no, please nothing. Oh, just a Tarmogoyf. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Alright, well I hope the opponent doesn't have a surgical. That would be very bad for us. I'm also going to go ahead and not activate Mikokoro, the reason being I want the opponent to be the least likely to have surgical as possible. Alright, I think the opponent is just dead then. Neat. I'll see you for the last match. Alright, here we are for the 5th and final match. We've lost the die roll, but our hand has an Ancestral Vision in it. We'd like more interaction, but I think this is good enough to keep. Hope we don't get Thought Seized again. What the heck? What? Black-red Goblins? Interesting, okay. I really don't know what a black-red Goblins deck looks like, so I guess we'll find out together. Well, we're suspending Ancestral and passing the turn. Alright, so Skirk, Prospector, sack a Goblin, add red mana. Cavern of Souls, naming Goblin, I assume. Taking 1, okay. So which ones are the important goblins? Or an Instigator. That one seems like it counts as an important goblin. Let's see if we can draw Lightning Bolt. That would be pretty great. Bolt? Wow. So yes, let's hurt ourselves. I think we just do this now so that the opponent can't use the red mana for anything on their turn. Nice. Cool, and now next turn we've got Snap Bolt, and then the following turn we've got Cryptic Command. That was a really good Lightning Bolt. Thanks, deck. Alright, now what is the opponent up to? Attacking with a Skirk Prospector, we're down to 16. Another Auntie's Hovel, the end. And we've got 3 mana for 4 mana. Oh, sacking the Skirk Prospector and Krenko Mob Boss. Alright, well, Ancestral down to 2. We definitely want to kill this before it loses Summoning Sickness, so here's a Snap Bolt. Alright, that was not a bad 2 for 1. Another Cavern of Souls for the opponent. And what is this? 3 mana into Pashalik Mons. Whenever this or another goblin you control dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. Sack a goblin, create 2 red 1/1s. Interesting. Alright, Ancestral ticking down to 1. So I think I'm okay with a trade here. Otherwise, I kind of just want to Jace bounce this. I feel like that sets the opponent pretty far back. Holding up Cryptic isn't very good in the face of double Cavern of Souls. So yeah, let's see what happens. You want to trade maybe? No? Okay. -1. Put that back in your hand. And let's see what happens. Opponent with lots of lands. There's a mountain and 5 mana. Oh no. Kiki Jiki. What the heck? I guess I should have thought about Hasty Goblins. I definitely wasn't thinking of Kiki Jiki in specific, but yeah, I guess I could have kept Snapcaster back. And we just drew 4 lands. That's cool. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I mean, I feel like I attack and then probably just Cryptic, bounce Kiki. Probably. Yeah, let's see what happens. There's no other targets for Kiki right now. Right, opponent with the Bloodstained Mire. One of their cards. I'm just gonna go ahead and bounce Kiki. We have a very ineffective Remand. Yep, uncounterable Shalak Mons. When it cracks the Bloodstained Mire. Blood Crypt tapped. Okay, so Kiki Jiki and 1 unknown in hand. 2 terrible looking Remands in our hand. Well, definitely playing a land. What do I even do here? I guess I could bounce this and draw a card and then just cast Remand just to cycle. It's not great, but Cryptic Command is just so bad with Cavern of Souls. Permanent, draw card. Yep. This feels Batman. Alright, Jace is not bad. I don't mind trading 2 for 2, I don't think, in case the opponent has Kiki Jiki. Whatever. We're both Lightning Bolt decks. Yeah, so I think whatever the opponent casts, I'm just casting Remand to cycle, because Remand is so bad with Cavern of Souls. Or against Cavern of Souls, rather. Yep. 2 mana cycle. How about that? Ooh, found the Lightning Bolt. I wonder if the opponent's just going to sacrifice this. Let's get 2 1/1s. It's not that bad. Alright, well I think I'm gonna Jace 0 and then figure it out from there. Well, I want to say this is too many lands, so let's go ahead and get rid of 2 lands and play a fetch. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what to do from here, so I guess let's let the opponent untap and then we will figure it out. Okay, so I think they're trying to kill Jace because I think they're going to cast Kiki Jiki and then send everything at Jace. So luckily, this Lightning Bolt is great. Yep, opponent has a lot of lands. Goblin Crater Maker, what the heck? Sacrifices, deals 2 damage to target creature, just for colorless turn. Okay. We're more worried about the Kiki-Jiki, which I believe is the last card in our opponent's hand. Are they cracking the Bloodstain Mine? Oh, I guess just to leave a Goblin Crater Maker. Okay, that makes sense. Yep, there's Kiki-Jiki. Oh, they get to make a Goblin Crater Maker. Oh, that's not bad. So I guess we have to kill the Crater Maker in response, and then they still have Kiki-Jiki. Darn, I was hoping to kill Kiki-Jiki. Oh well. At least I'm pretty sure Jace be living. Yeah, there's nothing there. And they have 0 cards in hand. Right. Let's opt into something cool, I guess. I don't know exactly what something cool is, but we'll see if we can find it. Land isn't it? I said land isn't it? One more time. Let's find something cool. I mean, I guess this is a good combo with Jace, so. Ooh. The natural. I'm just gonna 0 Jace, put Temporal Mastery on top. Wow, we have so many extra turns. Oh my goodness. Okay. Man, is it time to start just blessing Jace, given how many extra turns we got? Like, kind of close to 1,000 when you think about it. Not need Remand, so yes on the bottom. Let's do the Time Warp again. Guess we're trying to draw towards, like, Narset or something. Snapcaster Mage. No, not to the bottom. Let's do the Time Warp again. Guess the opponent does have an open mana, so they can mess with us, but I'm just going to activate Mikokoro anyway. Whatever. I also should have been keeping more track of our number of extra turns. I don't actually know what that number is. But, you know, whatever. Alright, there's a Narset. That's cool. Put that to the bottom. Okay. I'm pretty sure we have an extra turn queued up if we Narset and then Days Undoing. Not 100% sure, but pretty sure. That on the bottom. We might even have one more turn queued up after this. I don't really know. We have a lot going for us. I'm pretty sure we can't lose. All right, so my goal here is to plus Jace and Ultimate. And the reason I want to do that is I want to see what the heck is in the opponent's library. So let's see if they let us. Card zone, right? And let's take a nice little snapshot of this. Okay. The opponent's just like super dead. Go to an attack. Bolt them. Okay, so let's see. They are an Aether Vial deck. They are a Cavern of Souls deck. They've got Tarfire. Wow, they can find that with Goblin Matron, I think. You may search your library for a Goblin card, reel it, put it in your hand. That's a Goblin card. Pile Driver is a problem. They got Ringleader. They got War Chief. They got Instigator. heck is the black for? Oh, Munitions Expert and Siege Gang Lieutenant. Okay. Warren Instigator. Yeah, alright, so they're a creature deck. Legion Loyalist. Trash Master. Another Krenko. Alright, cool. So, cards that are good. Removal. Thing in the Ice. Cards that are bad. Force of Negation seems pretty bad. Along with Remand. And I don't think this is a Days Undoing matchup. Let's try it like that and see how that goes. That feels pretty clean. We don't want anything else, right? No Ceremonious, no Spell Pierce, no Surgical, no Niv-Mizzet. Yeah, sounds good to me. All right, here we are for game number 2. We are on the draw. This hand looks quite good. We've got Lightning Bolt as interaction. We can suspend Ancestral on turn 1. Yeah. Keep. Monty's Hovel for Skirk Prospector. Okay. I think we just hurt ourselves to suspend Ancestral on 1, because I think we just need that to happen as soon as possible. Right. See what the opponent's got. Bloodstained Mire into Mountain into Chalice on 1. What the heck? What the heck? What the heck? Chalice on what? This is a Chalice deck? I'm so bamboozled. All right, well, anyway. So, oh no. Warren Instigator. We're in trouble. We need to draw a Abrade right now, please. Abrade? Braid? That's not it. Whew. Let's look for Pyroclasm with Narset. The other option, of course, is to Mikokoro and then look for a land to Cryptic Command, bounce the Chalice, and then start bolting things. But I don't really want it to. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? All right, well, it's nice little Planeswalker ability. Look at 4 cards, put them on the bottom of your library. It's quite powerful. Yeah, so one disaster scenario also is the opponent hasn't been playing lands, or they missed their 3rd land drop. So it's possible they have another Chalice in hand, and that they're gonna, wow, both at us. Are they just gonna bolt Narset probably? Or maybe they have some kind of crazy goblin that's gonna kill Narset. God, this is bad. But yeah, what I was trying to say is it's possible that they have another Chalice in hand that they can put on 0. Oh my god, Goblin Matron, and then they get the next strike on Warren Instigator, and then they get to put whatever they find into play. That's cool. I mean, I guess the revealed card zone doesn't even matter, because it's just a massive whatever. Goblin Chieftain. Okay. Regular damage, in comes the Goblin Chieftain. I just realized they actually can't bolt Narset because of the Chalice. They could, I guess, fry her. Oh my god, Goblin Pile Driver, Jesus. We are in so much trouble. Alright, well, Ancestral down to 1. There's an Abrade, alright, that would have been nice earlier. Let's find Pyroclasm. Pyroclasm. No! Oh my god. Anything we can do here? A land would have been nice too, because then we could Cryptic, tap the team, draw a card, and at least get Ancestral. But man, not been good. Alright, I guess let's let the opponent figure out where they're sending these things all at the face. That makes sense. So let's destroy target artifact here. And then zap this thing. Alright, so if the opponent has another Goblin Lord, like another Chieftain, then we're dead, because they put that in on first strike for the Warren Instigator, and then we take like 1 billion. Otherwise, we're just taking 10, going down to 2. Oh, okay, or we're just dead. That's cool too. All right, let's see what happens if we go first. Now that we know that they're a Chalice deck, we could bring in Force or Ceremonious Rejection. Yeah, now that we know that they're a Chalice deck, let's try to... We can force Aether Vial and we can force the other thing. What do we take out? I guess a Time Warp and Snapcaster Mage blocks. So I think we leave that in. Take out another Time Warp. All right, try it like that. Okay, here we are for game 3. We are going first. This hand's not good, but it has a Bolt in it, and we can Narset. God, this hand's not good. We could Narset to look for Pyroclasm. This hand's just not good, though. I'm gonna mulligan. All right, well, I guess this hand has 2 opts in it, so we can opt to find something. Steam Vents to the bottom. Delta go. Opponent has Cavern of Souls. I mean, Goblin, of course, into... Looks like an Aether Vial. That's an Aether Vial. All right, well, we can look for Abrade. Abrade. That's not Abrade. We keep Snapcaster? I guess Snapcaster blocks and recasts an opt, so I guess so. Lightning Bolt's not bad. Alright, opponent's Aether Vial going to 1. Alright, activating Aether Vial. An interesting time to do that. Legion Loyalist. Okay. I don't think that's a card that we care about. Let's opt. It's interesting, the opponent didn't cast anything onto. I don't think we need a land. I feel like we're... Oh my god. Alright, found the Abrade. Destroy target artifact. Interesting. Fetch in response. Alright, just to fetch in response. So I guess maybe I should have kept that land on top. There's a Goblin War Chief. So I'm gonna zap that. And the opponent forgot to attack for some reason. Okay, so we can Narset, or we can hold up Snapcaster Mage. I'm just gonna Narset. Might buy us a few life points while she's at it. Nice, a lightning bolt. It's a lot better than whiffing. Would have been nice to have some of those lands though. Right. Munitions Expert. Probably a May, right? Oh my god. Creature or Planeswalker? Wow. Wow, I didn't know that. Okay. Well, that's neat. Alright, and who needs lands, right? Alright, well these cards aren't especially scary and we're at 18, so I think I'm going to not block and see if we want to bolt something else. This Chalice on 1. I'm going to Snapcaster Opt looking for a land, and then we can Snapcaster Abrade with the other one. Alright, see if we can find that land. Land. There we go. Alright. Oh, okay. Drew the Force of Negation. Just a second too late. Alright, yeah, I'll just leave the Snapcaster behind to block. It's only really bad in the face of a hasty creature, I guess. Because then the opponent's creatures have first strike. Into the opponent, doing a pump fake. No, actually casting a Goblin this time. And it is Warren Instigator. Okay. Guess I'll go ahead and block the Legion Loyalist. See what happens. Snapcaster Abrade the Chalice. And then we'll be able to Lightning Bolt or an Instigator. If this was a pause for surgical extraction, I think that wouldn't work out very well. Destroy target artifact. Right. Thing in the Ice. Ooh, that's a nice one. And are we attacking? Are we on attacking duty? I think we're attacking. Yeah, I think we're attacking. Aether Vial. We could force this. I think it's worth it because we're pretty far away from casting Temporal Mastery, and getting a counter off Thing in the Ice I think is pretty good. Also, it's just good if the opponent doesn't have a Vial. There's another Warren Instigator. I believe that means we are not attacking. Goblin Crater Maker. Interesting that they cast that pre-combat. So we can't counter it. Alright, so let's try to bounce the Warren Instigator and then draw a card. Yeah, if they kill this with the Crater Maker, I think we're perfectly fine with that. Just to stop us from drawing a card at great cost to them. That sounds entirely worth it to me. And if I could make them do that, I think I would. I think I just take this one. I guess this block is pretty free. The opponent probably doesn't have Bolt. I'm just not going to block it. I think it's not quite worth it to block. Ooh, that's a spell. All right, let's start attacking. I'm not sure if this is going to work out the way you want it to, opponent. All right, here's an attack for 7, bringing the opponent down to 10. The opponent found a 4th land. Mog War Marshal. All right, that does stuff. I think an attack this turn doesn't do anything because the opponent is representing Munitions Expert on Flash. And while we could do Snapcaster Mage, tap the opponent's team, it's really not that useful. If we attack with Awoken Horror, they just block with Mog War Marshal, get a token. Yeah, things are just all bad. It's because of that Munitions Expert having Flash that this is really problematic. Interesting. Also interesting. Alright, well I guess that now that Mog War Marshal isn't dead, it's time to start attacking. Alright, go ahead, opponent. Yep, Goblin Chieftain is good. I'll go ahead and zap that. An Instigator. And now I think the opponent is very close to dead, now that the opponent is tapped out. Because now we get to go Snapcaster for Pyroclasm. Turns out Pyroclasm as a spell is more effective when you don't bounce your opponent's creatures before resolving Pyroclasm. Who knew, right? And with the opponent at 3, Snapcaster Bolt is lethal, so I guess maybe I shouldn't have zapped the Warren Instigator, but maybe that convinced them to play out the whatever it was, Warren Instigator. Who knows? All right, Goblin Matron. Finding Goblin Pile Driver. Ah, that's a good one. And Skirk Prospector. Okay. Well, they only have one card in hand, and it's not Surgical Extraction, so they are dead. Lightning Bolt. Zap. Good game. So we finished at 4-1, which is a pretty good record. We lost to Jund, but we beat Mono-Black Zombies, Blue-Red Spells, Abzan Stoneblade, and Red-Black Goblins. So overall, the deck felt pretty good. It does rely pretty heavily on Ancestral Vision as a source of card advantage. This is similar to how Dictate builds rely on having a Howling Mine effect as some kind of source of card advantage. So there's times when Ancestral would get Inquisitioned away, or we would just draw 3 lands in a row. Those ones felt pretty bad. Other than that, I think it was quite good. Narset was a pretty solid inclusion. She did kind of die a lot. She did also whiff one time and, you know, found us a pretty mediocre opt another time, but she's not too bad. The static ability on her, I think, is pretty reasonable, in particular if the format becomes more fair and we see more decks like Blue-White Control or maybe that Spells deck that we played against. I think she'll get a little bit better. Days Undoing is definitely a card that I still have a lot of questions about. It's unclear to me when you don't have Narset on the field, when it's worth it to cast your Days Undoing. Like, you know, if you're at 2 cards in hand and your opponent is still at 7 cards in hand, it's probably reasonable to cast Days Undoing and try to refill. But there was that time when my opponent and I were both pretty close to 3 or 4 cards in hand. Their board had like a Tarmogoyf or 2. Is it worth it to try to Days Undoing there? I don't really know. How good would your hand have to be where you don't cast it versus how bad would your hand have to be where you do cast it? It's really hard to say. I'm not super sure if Days Undoing belongs in the deck, but man, when you get to have Narset on board and resolve Days Undoing, that is sweet. Remand is a card that I'm pretty consistently underwhelmed by. It was fine this league, but there were games like that one against Black-Red Goblins where we had to remand their uncounterable Goblin because of Cavern of Souls. That's just 2 mana cycling, and that feels pretty bad. But if the format gets fairer and people are tapping 3 or more lands to play their threats, then Remand gets way, way better, because then you're gaining a tempo advantage when you use it. On the other hand, against a card like Stoneforge Mystic, it's only okay. If you're on the play, it's great, you get to remand their turn 2 Stoneforge. But if you're on the draw and they get to resolve their turn 2 Stoneforge while you only have 1 land in play, and then on their turn 3 they just activate the Stoneforge to put Batterskull into play, your remand's just sitting there in your hand kind of rotting away. So remand is a card that I would consider trimming, but it's fine. Over in the sideboard, Niv-Mizzet overperformed. I thought it would be kind of mediocre, you know, dies to Liliana or dies to a path, but at least you get to draw a card. But man, it single-handedly won us some of those games against Blue-Red Spells and against Abzan. I think it's worth investigating further if that was just a fluke or if Niv-Mizzet is actually the real deal, but definitely exceeded expectations. Pyroclasm, I think, would have been a little bit better as Anger, just because the Exile clause was relevant against those zombies, but I also think doing 3 damage is better than doing 2. It could definitely go either way. I think the main argument that Marcus had for Pyroclasm over Anger was that you can still cast Pyroclasm pretty easily through Athalia, whereas casting Anger now takes 4 mana instead of 3, and that's a pretty huge difference. I could definitely see the argument for that, but personally, I'm in the Anger camp. And then Ceremonious Rejection we didn't get a chance to use because we didn't play against any Artifact or Tron decks, but I still think it deserves slots in the sideboard. That was the deck. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you for the next one.